Have you ever, because you've been a part of some, I mean, earlier on, like I feel like when you first got out and when you were running around with Kim and obviously when you first got on Atlantic, the high header days, you were a part of some public altercations.
Yeah.
Before Instagram.
Yeah.
Right? When we would just have to read about it on allhiphop.com or whatever the fuck, right?
Yeah.
Any of those altercations ever result in you like maybe 10, 15 years later burying the hatchet with any of those? Because I think like, because you had a situation with Berg, right? Back in the day?
It was like, yeah.
But I'm like, Hitmaker and Jim Jones got a whole album coming out. So like,
here's the thing though.
And you're a different guy, you know?
Yeah, like every day we trying to get to a place where we can be better than before, right? So I can't like sit up here and act like I'm this actively involving myself with some bullshit.
Yeah, you've grown.
You understand what I'm saying?
You're not
so like
the same guy you were back then.
Yeah, right. It's like it doesn't even make no sense. So anything that I went through before, so you gotta understand, like a lot of the things that I had been involved with in the way I was moving, it was because I didn't know any different. I didn't know any better. Like, you understand where my education is coming from. I've only been to 2 places in my whole life. I've been in the street and I've been to prison.
And then you get thrown into this fake ass industry.
That's the only 2 places I ever been in my life. That's it. I had never been in a corporate world. I had never worked in corporate America. I had never had a job. Anything that I had done, you know, in my life involved the streets, and it involved, and when I went to prison, then you understand what that is. So what does that teach you? There's 2 places that teach you how to be violent and teach you how to survive. So it doesn't teach you how to handle your problems diplomatically, civilly, right? So now when I get in the industry and I'm saying, all right, cool, you niggas is out here idolizing these guys over here, I'm the real thing. So when I'm getting into things, my only reaction is to deal with it the way I only know how to. And then people looking at me like, you bugging.
Right.
And I'm saying, y'all don't want the real thing? They like, nah, you could look like it or act like it.
Right.
We don't really want you to do it though.
Right.
And it took me a while to kind of really get that. Because for me, it was staying in a lot of relationships, and it was kind of like pushing opportunities away from me that, you know.
You definitely had a stigma early on, but I've known you for a long time. So I've known you since like 09, 2010,
right,
09.
And anybody know me know I've always been solid, always
super
been
solid.
Humble, always been solid, always been humble, always been, you know, confident, but I always been who I was, you know, and always been solid, right? But
you've always had your principles. You've always had,
right.
You know, look, I think people know you don't fuck around with Maino, like, and that's not a bad thing,
right?
But, you know,
right?
I definitely think that you definitely had a stigma,
right? But if you don't hit the top automatically, and you got to fight for everything that you got to get, then when you got that stigma, it chases the money away. You understand? So if you a nigga that hit straight to the top, and they got to deal with you. See, they ain't have to deal with me.
Right.
Because soon as I ain't have a record, then it was like, okay, shit, we don't have to deal with him.
Right.
He's not that big. He's not that hot. So that's the difference. So then you actually running the money away, because when you're not hot and you're not on fire and you're not the rapper at the time, then your relationships in who you are help you through that time. Right. You understand? Like, just being who you are and just having certain relationships can still keep you afloat until you find your next situation, whether that's another record or another deal, whatever it is.
100%.
You understand?
No, we see it all the time.
Yeah.
No, that's fair.